Star Wars Outlaws has always felt like a game that didn't quite know if it wanted to be a hand solo simulator or a LinkedIn networking event for the criminal underworld. Massive Entertainment promised us the first truly open world Star Wars experience, and what we got was, well, an Ubisoft game. It's got more fur and slightly less climbing towers, but the DNA is unmistakable. Now that it's landed on Game Pass as of the 13th of January, the price of entry is no longer the issue. The real question is whether you've got the patience for the Ubisoft mission bloat or if you'd rather spend your weekend playing something that doesn't feel like admin with a blaster. Developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft, Outlaws originally launched back in August 2024. It's free on Game Pass now, or about 18 quid on Steam if you're catching a sale. It's sitting at mostly positive on Steam, which in 2026 feels about right. It's a solid adventure that's finally had the launch day bugs ironed out. Playing as Kay Vass feels like a refreshingly honest take on the scoundrel trope. She's effectively a new version of Han Solo, just with more debt and less backup. The scoundrel fantasy is where the game actually shines. There's a genuine weight to the world building that keeps you tethered to the screen. Walking into a cantina on Tatooine doesn't feel like walking into a quest hub. It feels like walking into a room full of people who would happily sell your organs for a handful of credits. The reputation system is where the depth actually lives. You're constantly juggling the Pikes, the Crimson Dawn, and the Hutts. And the game is at its best when you're forced to betray one for the sake of another. It creates this lovely, anxious friction where you're never quite safe in any territory. Before we get into the grid of the missions, if you're enjoying this honest look at the Game Pass library, do me a massive favor and hit the like button. It helps the channel more than you'd think. And if you want more reviews that skip the hype and get straight to the point, hit subscribe. Now back to Kay Vass. The gameplay is interesting and surprisingly deep, though honestly it's sometimes too deep. There's a mountain of side quests and distractions that feel like filler, but the good news is you can avoid most of them if you value your time. The stealth is decent and fits the context of the missions, but I'll be honest, I got tired of being forced to sneak so often. You can blast your way through, but it breaks the immersion when you're suddenly playing a generic third-person shooter in the middle of a heist movie. Visually, the game is immense. It's beautiful at every turn, from the moody lighting of Akiva to the familiar dusty grime of Mos Eisley. However, the performance is still a bit of a quibble. The devs clearly aim for the top end, and then used AI frame gen as a crutch to hit 60 FPS. Which can look a bit blurry when things get fast, but overall it's really good. Let's talk pros. The speeder and the ship play are absolute highlights. They handle really well and actually make exploring feel like a choice rather than a chore. Nix is a great companion, who serves a genuine purpose beyond being a mascot. And then there's Sabacc. I went in to steal a reactor core and ended up completely addicted to a card game. On the flip side, the mission design suffers from that classic Ubisoft magic, which is just a polite way of saying it's repetitive. The crawl through event, hacker terminal loop is out in full force. It's a true open world which I appreciate, but it falls victim to that familiar bloat where every map marker is just another chest to open. So, is it a Game Pass great? Since the original release, a fair few quality of life improvements have been made, and the game is much more polished than the version people were shouting about in 2024. It's a character-driven story that respects the source material without constantly poking you in the ribs with Easter eggs. It's worth your time, especially if you can ignore the fluff and just soak in the atmosphere. I'm going back in for one more hand to Sabacc. I'll see you in the next one.